Why are people giving up on having kids? The answer will surprise you. And it's not a simple problem, nor an act of selfishness or laziness. The truth hides behind real fears. Fear of economic instability, an uncertain future, crushing debts, and a world that seems harder and harder to raise a child in. This silent change, this quiet refusal, is a warning sign few want to face. No one is talking about it, but the numbers don't lie. Birth rates are plummeting, schools are closing, cities are aging, and the future of our society is starting to wobble. In this video, we'll explore the deep reasons behind this choice and the impact it has on all of us. Get ready to discover a side of the story few dare to tell, and understand why this is one of the biggest mysteries of our generation. There's a curious fact that almost no one is talking about, but it could change the entire world. People are having fewer and fewer children. Quietly, year after year, birth rates have been falling across the globe. In 2023, the United States hit a new low, the lowest birth rate in the country's history. And it's not just happening there. Today, over 150 countries no longer have enough children to sustain their own populations over time. The truth is, we're entering an unprecedented historical shift, and barely anyone is paying attention. It might sound dramatic, but it's as if humanity is sleepwalking into a slow and dangerous decline. What's strange is that the signs are everywhere. Schools are closing due to lack of students. Maternity wards are empty. Entire neighborhoods are aging rapidly. A striking example comes from Japan. In a village called Nagoro, there you'll find more dolls than people. That's right. A woman began sewing life-size dolls to replace the residents who either died or moved away. The village turned into a ghost town made of fabric. Sounds like a movie scene, but it's real life. These are the little mysteries of the modern world that say more than we realize. Fewer babies today means fewer workers tomorrow, fewer taxpayers, fewer consumers, fewer teachers, fewer doctors, and more elderly people with no one to care for them. And it's not just about numbers. What's truly alarming is what this drop represents. In the past, having children was seen as normal. Today it's a tough decision. Many people are afraid. Afraid of not having money, of not finding stable jobs, of not being able to give their kids a decent life. Some even look at the state of the world and ask, is it really worth bringing a child into this? And honestly, that fear makes sense. Today's young adults grew up through economic crises, pandemics, climate change, and student debt. How can we expect them to want to raise children in a world that feels more unstable every day? This choice to not have children doesn't come from selfishness. It comes from exhaustion. Today's generation is under enormous pressure, and many are letting go of the traditional idea of starting a family. And that raises an important question. What does this shift say about our society? What used to be a natural part of life is now becoming rare, and for many, even a luxury. And perhaps the most important point is this. If the birth of a child is becoming a rare event, what does that say about the future we're building? The answer starts to unfold when we look at the reasons behind this decision. And that's exactly where the second part of this story begins. Nowadays, saying you don't want kids has become more and more common. And the curious part is that most people don't say it out loud, but show it through their choices. The idea of building a traditional family is losing space. And this has nothing to do with laziness or selfishness like some people assume. The reason runs much deeper. Millions of young people, especially millennials and Gen Z, are saying no to parenthood out of fear, insecurity, and exhaustion. It's one of those interesting facts that show how much the world has changed. In the past, having kids was just expected. Today, it's a financial, emotional, and mental challenge. When you weigh everything, for many people, it simply doesn't feel worth it. Think about today's reality. The cost of living is through the roof. Living alone is already expensive. Now imagine raising a child. Rent prices are soaring, wages have barely grown, and student debt takes years to pay off. On top of that, there's constant instability. Short-term jobs, burnout at work, lack of time, and worsening mental health. How can anyone plan to raise a family in that kind of world? It's not about rejecting love or responsibility. It's about trying to survive. Many of these young people watched their parents sacrifice everything and are now choosing to protect their own emotional health. And that's a brave decision too. This is one of those modern mysteries that's tough to face. A generation that isn't giving up on life, but trying to find a lighter way to live it. Behind this quiet change, there's a bigger cultural shift happening. That old idea of success, marriage, owning a home, raising kids, is being replaced by new priorities. Traveling, studying, investing in health, and focusing on personal growth have become more valuable to many people. That doesn't mean they've given up on forming strong bonds. It just means the old models don't work for everyone anymore. And here's where a new curiosity starts to rise. If fewer people are becoming parents, what happens to our family bonds in the future? Who's going to care for our parents? Who'll support the healthcare system, the pension system, or even keep communities connected? The answers start to take shape when we look at a society that's aging fast, and possibly aging alone. The truth is, the United States, like many other countries, is aging fast. And we're not just talking about dates on a calendar. The young population is shrinking, while the number of elderly people is growing like never before. The curious part is, this wouldn't be a problem if there were balance. But there isn't. Today, there are fewer young people entering the workforce, and more older adults staying in it. But many of these seniors aren't working because they want to. They're working because they have to. People in their 70s and even 80s are still trying to pay bills, take care of their health, and live with dignity. And that shows an interesting fact. The system that once existed to care for the elderly is failing, and now they're having to take care of themselves. But that's not all. Loneliness is becoming a silent epidemic. In the past, it was common to see big families. Grandparents, parents, kids, and grandkids living close, supporting each other. Today, it's every person for themselves. Fewer children means fewer grandchildren. Fewer marriages, fewer bonds. Elderly people are living alone, isolated, often forgotten. This is one of those modern mysteries that many people still haven't noticed. Life is getting longer, but also lonelier. And that has heavy consequences. The physical and mental health of millions of people is being affected. Hospitals are overwhelmed, costs are rising, and caregivers, when they exist, can't handle everything. It's a ticking time bomb that's already starting to go off. The scariest part is that this affects how society functions as a whole. With fewer young people and more elderly, we're seeing shortages in all kinds of jobs. There's a lack of fresh energy, new ideas, and innovation. And the impact doesn't stop there. If no one takes care of the base of the pyramid, the whole thing collapses. And when that happens, everything on top falls with it. The economy, public safety, education, healthcare. That's why an aging population isn't just a problem for the elderly. It's a problem for everyone. And if this trend continues, things could get even worse. Because with fewer births and fewer young people prepared for the future, collapse may hit where no one's looking, in the invisible structures holding society together. When people think of collapse, they usually imagine something sudden, an earthquake, a war, a blackout. But there's another kind of collapse, slower, quieter, and maybe even more dangerous. Starts with something small, like one less child in a classroom. Then the school closes. The town's hospital gets less traffic. Local shops start shutting down. The city shrinks. And suddenly it disappears. This is already happening in many parts of the world. Fewer children today means fewer workers, fewer consumers, fewer fresh ideas. It's one of those historical facts we only realize when the damage is done, and there's no turning back. This collapse isn't just about families. It hits the very foundation of everything. The economy, technology, healthcare, even national security. With fewer young people, there's not enough labor. Businesses shut down, innovation slows, and even the military feels the impact. Yes, even recruitment numbers are falling. States and towns may lose schools, hospitals, and basic services simply because there aren't enough people to need them. Sounds extreme. Think again. If there are no children now, who will fill the jobs 20 years from today? Who will care for the elderly? Who will pay the taxes that keep everything running? This isn't theory. There are already places in the US and Europe where birth rates are so low that the future of entire communities is literally at risk. It's a sad but fascinating truth. Cities are vanishing, not from war or disaster, but from lack of people. And the most curious part is that it's all happening quietly, without sirens. Like a slow leak that one day brings the whole roof down. The changes seem small, but they build up. And when the effects finally show, it's already too late. The real danger is thinking we still have time, that we can deal with it later. But later is coming fast. The future depends on the choices we make today. And no matter how advanced technology becomes, no matter how much machines help us, there's one thing they'll never do: keep the human spirit alive. Which brings us to a difficult and urgent question. What can truly save us? Artificial intelligence, immigration, or more children? Many people think technology will fix everything. That with artificial intelligence, robots, and machines, we'll keep things running even with fewer people. But the reality is different. No matter how advanced technology gets, it doesn't create families. Robots don't have children, don't care for the elderly, and don't keep communities alive. It might seem like a small detail, but it's a curious and fundamental fact. The foundation of society isn't just machines and code. It's people, human relationships, care, and passing on values. Without that, the future could be cold and empty, even if full of technology. Another path many rely on is immigration. Indeed, welcoming people from other countries helps renew the population, brings fresh energy, and keeps the economy alive. But immigration isn't a magic solution, and it can't fix everything on its own. Countries with low birth rates that depend heavily on immigration face cultural, social, and political challenges. Also, the number of people who can migrate isn't unlimited. And when the whole world starts aging, what happens? Immigration becomes a tough game with few cards in hand. So, we can't expect this factor alone to save the situation. In the end, the biggest challenge is something very simple, yet being overlooked: having children. Yes, bringing new generations into the world is what keeps life going. It's what keeps communities strong, cities alive, and systems working. Choosing not to have children might seem like a solution for immediate problems, but it's a warning we can't ignore. Because if no one acts to change this path, we're writing a future that's lonely, sick, and poor. And this is one of those mysteries that, when we finally realize it, it might already be too late. So here's the question: what can each of us do to change this course? After everything we've seen, one question remains. What will the future look like for a society that isn't having children? Have you stopped to think about the consequences this could bring to your daily life, the economy, and culture? It's a real mystery that, if ignored, could change the world as we know it. And you, what do you think? Is this a conscious choice or a warning sign we're not fully understanding? Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe this trend can be reversed? Or are we truly heading toward a lonelier, emptier future? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear from you. And if you want to keep learning about this fascinating topic and other mysteries of our time, Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you won't miss any updates.